Peace, peace. Indra Ali, coming back at you with another video. So this is episode 2 in my new series, Everything is Spiritual and Has a Backstory. In the first episode, I told you this is actually a 3-part story, so I suggest that you go to the first episode. It is entitled Trent's Pizza Delivery. So at this point, peace and blessings be upon my best friend at that time transitioned, and it's probably been a couple weeks or so. Immediately upon his transition, I placed him on my altar. So for people saying that you can't have non-blood people on your altar, I'm a living example of someone who has non-blood people on the altar. He's still on my altar to this day, and it's been probably 10 years or so. So probably a few days after he transitioned, I placed him on my altar. And this story directly ties into my first mediumship reading. So I place him on my altar. I'm down there giving an offering, like it says, a couple weeks after he transitioned, maybe a week and a half or so. So I give my offering, routine stuff, nothing out of the ordinary. So when I put out the candle and I'm about to bounce out of the altar room, I clearly heard in my ear, "You never spend any time with us. You never spend any time with us." So I'm like, what the hell? So I knew that was coming from my altar. So I just went down, sat, chilled, and I just meditated in silence on my altar. Probably a couple minutes later, I literally had my best friend at the time come through, and he was telling me that he wanted me to speak to his mom, that she was not in a good place, quote unquote, that she was going through it. Obviously, she just lost her son. If you bury your child before you, it's gonna make you feel a certain way. So he's expressing to me that he wanted me to talk to her, that I was probably the only person that was non-religious that can explain in a way that made sense. So I'm just getting it. I'm like, man, how am I gonna talk to dude's mom? So the transmission breaks between him and I. So I go back upstairs and I'm like laying in bed and the Wiz is with me or whatever. And I'm just laying in bed. I'm just telling her like, man, Trent want me to holler at his mom. Like, I don't know what to say to her, and I have my eyes closed. So I'm just sitting there basically just meditating on what to say to her. And he clearly comes into my mind, Trent, who I'm speaking with, who's already made a transition. So he's in the spirit realm. He clearly comes into my mind's eye. I see his image. I see his face. I mean, clear as day. And he puts up the number 5. So I'm seeing my best friend who's already transitioned. I'm already spoke with him at my altar. So I'm laying in bed immediately after. And he comes through in my mind's eye and throws up the number 5. And at the time, I didn't have no clue what he was talking about. Poop you not. 5 minutes later, his mom either calls me or texts me. I'm pretty sure she texts me or whatever. So I'm on the phone with her and I'm telling her like, yeah, I talked to your son. And I'm somehow convincing her that I spoke with her son. And she knows like he's in the spirit world and she don't believe in this kind of thing. But I was like, man, he came through. I know he's not in a quote unquote negative place because, they have a concept that you either go to heaven or hell. So I'm just speaking into her at her level, eye level, and not trying to be over her head and make it like trying to change her beliefs, so to speak. So I'm just conveying to her that her son's in a safe place, that he's okay. If I get any more messages from him, I will make sure to relay it, blah, 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 blah. So she just thanks me, and I can sense that she was a little bit more relieved. She had some experience with him where she set up kind of like a makeshift altar, because most people have an altar even if they don't have an altar. So she made up something at the crib and she felt his presence there. So for me to contact her and relate to her that I was in contact with him, it kind of confirmed what she was already feeling. So I was able to give her some sort of peace by way of my best friend. In the third episode, I'm going to tell you this actually. In the third episode, I'm going to share a story with you, another contact that I got from him after he transitioned, and it was actually not that long ago. So this has been episode 2. Make sure to go to episode 1 if you have not checked it out. And as always, leave in the comments if you're feeling this series. Until next time, this has been Indra Ali. Peace.